Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Charlton Athletic Community Trust online quiz, the fourth one we have done so far. The weather hasn't been great this week, as it hasn't been great today. It was raining where I am, but looking outside now, actually blue sky. Looks like it's a pretty nice evening. Hope you've had a really good week. Look, this is being streamed live, so please bear with us if there are any technical problems. Let's talk about first why we are doing this. Well, firstly, we want to provide an opportunity for people to get together virtually or in their households for some fun and a distraction from what's going on in the world at the moment. Secondly, we're raising funds for CAC's work supporting vulnerable people during the current crisis. CAC is working with the Royal Borough of Greenwich to run the community hub in Greenwich. The staff are taking hundreds of calls a day on the call centre, organising shopping and deliveries of food parcels, collecting prescriptions and referring people to other local services. CAC has also set up a friendship line, offering regular calls to those who are self-isolating. Its Extra Time weekly group for older people is now running its choir and holding weekly tea groups online to reduce loneliness. And other CAC programs have also been updated and adapted to continue providing support. Mentoring is now online and over the phone. The team in Thanet is helping with food deliveries, and the CAC football coaches are running daily football skill challenges with support from the first team. This quiz is free to take part in, but anything you can donate will help support CAC's work in the community now and in the future. For example, CAC is buying food for those who can't afford it, where food banks are unable to help and helping cover any costs it has at the moment. You can donate online at cac.org.uk/donate. You can see that across the bottom of the screen right now. Would also just like to say a huge thank you to everyone who donated last week as part of CAC's Upbeats week. Really enjoyed it last week. The Upbeats, fantastic. And in total, CAC raised over £27,000 to fund the Upbeats Down Syndrome's team last week. An amazing total that will pay for weekly training sessions, kit, entry to tournaments, trips, and other activities for the young people and adults who take part. Okay, how will the quiz work if this is your first time? If it's not, you pretty much know. We have 5 rounds with 10 questions each. At the end of each round, I'll give you a short amount of time to go through the questions, and then we'll read out the answers for you to mark. Please send us any comments or requests for shout outs to read between the rounds in the comments box. Anything you want, within reason, of course. You might want to ask me a question, a football question, a Charlton question. Get a mention for yourself or for others as well. So please stick them in the comments box as soon as you can. At the end of each round, I'll try and read out your name and question. Please submit your team name and score on the comments or to fundraising@cact.org.uk, and we'll publish a leaderboard soon after the end. Now, the rounds, if you don't know: general knowledge, film and TV, history, geography, and sports, including a few Charlton questions here as well. Now, we can't enforce a no mobile phone policy or Google, of course, but this is for fun. Just see if you can try and answer the questions yourselves. Cheat later. Shall we start? Okay, general knowledge round. First question. Where in Russia is Lenin's embalmed body on display? So where in Russia is Lenin's embalmed body on display? Question 2. What is the national animal of New Zealand? The national animal of New Zealand. Not that difficult, that one. Hopefully get you off to a pretty decent start. This one, under pressure here already. What month is International Women's Day in? What month is International Women's Day in? Knew it straight away, of course. In astronomy, what is the name for a region of space where no matter or radiation can escape from? So in astronomy, what is the name for a region of space where no matter or radiation can escape from? Question 5. What type of animal is a duck-billed platypus? So what type of animal is a duck-billed platypus? Question 6. What animal is associated with the star sign Capricorn? So what animal is associated with the star sign Capricorn? Question 7. What is the chemical symbol for calcium on the periodic table? The chemical symbol for calcium on the periodic table. Have a guess. Clue. 2 letters. What is the collective noun for a group of owls? So question 8. What is the collective noun for a group of owls? Question 9. What song, which is currently #1 in the charts, did Captain or Colonel Tom Moore record this week to raise money for the NHS? It is a classic football song. What song, which is currently #1 in the charts, did Captain Tom Moore record this week, Colonel Tom Moore record this week to raise money for the NHS? And question 10. The yeoman warders at the Tower of London are commonly known by what other name? So say that again. Yeoman warders at the Tower of London are commonly known by what other name? Please don't forget to send in your comments. Could be absolutely anything. Hello to yourselves, hello to your family, hello to people that you know are playing this game, the quiz, a question to me, a football question generally. It could be a Charlton question. So anything at all, please send in. So for those of you who joined in late, I'll go through those questions again. Question 1 was, where in Russia is Lenin's embalmed body on display? Question 2, what is the national animal of New Zealand? Question 3, what month is International Women's Day in? Question 4, in astronomy, what is the name for a region of space where no matter or radiation can escape from? Question 5, what type of animal is a duck-billed platypus? Question 6 was, what animal is associated with the star sign Capricorn? Question 7, what is the chemical symbol for calcium on the periodic table? Question 8 was, what is the collective noun for a group of owls? Question 9, what song, which is currently #1 in the charts, did Colonel Tom Moore record this week to raise money for the NHS? And question 10, the yeoman warders at the Tower of London are commonly known by what other name? I'll give you a fact before we go through the answers about CAC's Community Hub. The call centre takes over 1,000 calls a day from people in Greenwich looking for help at the moment. 1,000 calls a day. That's incredible. So a fantastic job the guys are doing. Okay, let's go through the answers, shall we? Question 1 was, where in Russia is Lenin's embalmed body on display? Lenin's mausoleum, Red Square. If you got Moscow, we'll accept Moscow. Question 2, what is the national animal of New Zealand? The answer, kiwi. What month is International Women's Day? It is March, the 8th of March, in fact. Question 4, in astronomy, what is the name for a region of space where no matter or radiation can escape from? A black hole. What type of animal is a duck-billed platypus? It's a mammal. What animal is associated with the star sign Capricorn? A goat. What is the chemical symbol for calcium on the periodic table? It is Ca. What is the collective noun for a group of owls? A parliament of owls. A parliament of owls. What song, which is currently #1 of the charts, did Captain or Colonel Tom Moore record this week to raise money for the NHS? A classic football song, You Will Never Walk Alone. Great tune. And the yeoman warders at the Tower of London are commonly known by what other name? The Beefeaters. Now, I don't know if you were watching last week at all. The CEO of CATS, Jason Morgan, top guy, I've known him for 30 years. Him and Carl, who massive part of what he plays in the upbeats amongst many other departments amongst CATS, had a competition. Jason lost by 1 point. But he's just got in contact with me now to say he's got in contact with Keith Peacock. Now, Keith, I think everyone knows how much I love Keith. Absolute legend. I look up to him even to this day. I'm not great with IT, but let me tell you, he's even worse than me. So at the moment, we're trying to get him on to see if him and Leslie would come and do the questions. I don't think we've got him on for the first round, but hopefully. Jason just said he's called Bill Gates to help get him collected. And Keith, knowing Keith, he knows everyone. He probably does know Bill Gates. Anyway, moving swiftly on. The film and TV round. Question 1. In the 1980 film Airplane, brilliant film, Leslie Nielsen's line, "Don't call me Shirley," was a response to which question? So in the 1980 film Airplane, Leslie Nielsen's line, "Don't call me Shirley," was a response to which question? Brilliant. Question 2. Which cult 1967 television series does one associate with the words, "I am not a number, I'm a free man"? Question 3. In Emmerdale, who are the current landlords of the Woolpack? So in Emmerdale, who are the current landlords of the Woolpack? Question 4. Who presents and acts as the manager on BBC programme The Repair Shop? So who presents and acts as the manager on the BBC programme The Repair Shop? Come on, guys. No one sent anything through in terms of any messages at all. We should have some by the end of this round. Question 5. Who narrated Gogglebox from its launch in March 2013 until April 2016? So who narrated Gogglebox from its launch in March 2013 until April 2016? Now, if you want a clue, and it's a big one, she is more famous for being Mrs. Merton. Question 6. Which singer made a cameo appearance on Love Island in 2019 as a DJ performing his new single, When You Know What Love Is? So which singer made a cameo appearance on Love Island in 2019 as a DJ performing his new single, When You Know What Love Is? Question 7. Which character did the actor Ballard Berkeley play in Fawlty Towers? So which character did the actor Ballard Berkeley play in Fawlty Towers? How many did they make of those? Only 6 or 8? Absolutely incredible. In the Toy Story films, what is the name of Buzz Lightyear's arch-nemesis? In the Toy Story films, what is the name of Buzz Lightyear's arch-nemesis? Okay, question 9. In Killing Eve, who plays the role of MI6 leader Carolyn Martins? In question 9. In Killing Eve, who plays the role of MI6 leader Carolyn Martins? And question 10, what is the name of the spy in the films The Ipcris File, Funeral in Berlin, and $1 Billion Brain? So what is the name of the spy? Give you the actor as well if you want. In the films The Ipcris File, Funeral in Berlin, and $1 Billion Brain. Okay, let's mention a few people, shall we? Sarah Monaghan. Sarah, how the devil are you? Evening, Mr. Minto. Good evening. How are we? I know you joined the quiz in last week, so great to see you here with us this week as well. Always good to keep in contact with you. And Neil Stevens, evening, Scott. Got to ask this. Do you have a favourite game you presented from the EFL this season, and the game you really wish they'd given to someone else? There's no game, of course, I'd wish they'd given to someone else. No game whatsoever. Although I have to say, when I came back onto English football, I mentioned this last week about how well Lee Bowyer's done of binding the fans with the team and everything that he's done. That game, we talked about the Middlesbrough game last week, but the Ipswich game was the first game after 4 years me doing Spanish football at the Valley. Charlton, Ipswich. I was so looking forward to it. I said to everyone at Sky that please, any Chuck games at the Valley, just give me those. I want to go back. Great times there. And of course, I think the score was 3-0 to Ipswich. So I certainly don't wish I wasn't there, but I just wish the scoreline was different. And look, do you have a favourite game you've presented from the EFL this season? I think any Leeds game feels massive. West Brom, fantastic to watch. Fulham, Charlton, I really, really enjoyed. I think both managers showed that they've got a really good footballing brain. But I think the biggest game I've done so far is the Carabao Cup final. So that's the one for me. Two massive teams and obviously a final as well. So that was really enjoyable. Okay, before we go through the answers, let's give you another CACT Community Hub fact. One of the people CACT has helped is Ruth, who is 80 and lives with her 83-year-old husband. They were self-isolating and couldn't get any food. CACT did their shopping and delivered it to her. She said, it's a great relief. I can only repeat my thanks. That's absolutely fantastic. Well done, everybody there, guys, at CACT. So let's go through the answers, shall we? In the 1980 film Airplane, Leslie Nielsen's line, "Don't call me Shirley," was a response to which question? Surely you can't be serious. I am, and don't call me Shirley. Which cult 1967 television series does one associate with the words "I'm not a number, I'm a free man"? The Prisoner. In Emmerdale, who are the current landlords of the Woolpack? Chaz and Charity Dingle. Who presents and acts as the manager on BBC programme The Repair Shop? Jay Blades. Who narrated Gogglebox from its launch in March 2013 until April 2016? Mrs. Merton, of course, was the clue, Carolina Hearn. Which singer made a cameo appearance on Love Island in 2019 as a DJ performing his new single, When You Know What Love Is? The answer, Craig David. Question 7. Which character did the actor Ballard Barkley play in Fawlty Towers? Major Gowan. Question 8. In the Toy Story films, what is the name of Buzz Lightyear's arch-nemesis? Emperor Zurg. In Killing Eve, who plays the role of MI6 leader Carolyn Martins? It is Fiona Shaw. And what is the name of the spy, or the actor I'll give you, in the films The Ipcris File, Funeral in Berlin, and $1 Billion Brain? Harry Palmer, played by Michael Caine, of course. Right, let's go through to the history rounds. Which country did Germany invade on the 1st of September 1939 that led to the start of the Second World War? So which country did Germany invade on the 1st of September 1939 that led to the start of the Second World War? Question 2, true or false? Queen Victoria was alive at the start of the 20th century. 50-50 on this one. True or false? Queen Victoria was alive at the start of the 20th century. Question 3. What was the first name of the post-war UK Prime Minister whose surname was Attlee? So what was the first name of the post-war UK Prime Minister whose surname was Attlee? Question 4. With which country did the UK fight the so-called Cod Wars over fishing rights in the 50s, 60s and 70s? So with which country did the UK fight the so-called Cod Wars over fishing rights in the 50s, 60s and 70s? Just asking Jace if Keith and Leslie are on. Question 5. Who was Henry VIII's first wife? So who was Henry VIII's first wife? Question 6. We know who the first man to walk on the moon was. Who was the second man? So who was the second man to walk on the moon? Question 7. Which scientific subject did Margaret Thatcher study at Oxford University? So which scientific subject did Margaret Thatcher study at Oxford University? Question 8. Surprised at this one. How old was Julius Caesar when he died? 33, 44, 55 or 66? So how old was Julius Caesar when he died? 33, 44, 55, 66. Question 9. Which modern day country was the center of the Ottoman Empire, which ruled much of Europe from the 14th century? So which modern day country was the center of the Ottoman Empire, which ruled much of Europe from 14th century? And question 10. Who was US president immediately before Barack Obama? So who was the US president immediately before Barack Obama? I'll give you a minute or so, mention some more, give some more shout outs. Talia says, happy birthday to Kevin Kraut for Sunday. Happy birthday, Kev. Up the Reds. Ray Bebb says, Minto, classy player. Ray, a check is in the post. Crazy Gymnastics says, who did you enjoy working with, or who do you enjoy working with on Sky and why? That's going to get me into trouble, isn't it? I have to say, so many people. I'd spent 3 years on a Friday night with Keith Andrews, going around the country. Obviously, Friday's different now. They're in the studio. I'm on a Saturday, and I'm still going around the country, which I love being at the grounds. But Keith was and is great fun. In fact, I just did a Zoom interview with him and Don Goodman this morning, talking about some EFL talents. Who else? Andy Hinchcliffe, great guy. One of the best all-round pundits on Sky Sports right now. He's great fun. There's so many. Lee Hendry, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank is great fun. Yeah, it's just I've forgotten some now, so I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I'll move swiftly on. Stuart's Gamester. I said, hello, Scott. Who was the best Charlton player you played with? What a question that is, Stuart. My goodness me. I have to say, I was asked this question when we went back to the Valley. What would that have been? A few Septembers ago, 25 years of Back to the Valley. Couldn't play in the game, but was asked a few questions. One of which was, who was the best player you played with at Charlton? Now, what I say was, and the reason why I put this guy certainly in the top 3 is because he was so underrated, and he was actually my roommate as well, Carl Leeburn. It was one of those where when you're under pressure, you could just stick a ball 50 yards in the air, and he'd have 2 defenders hanging off him, and it'd somehow bring the ball down, relieve a bit of pressure for the defence. And he was really well appreciated. Of course, he wasn't a prolific goal scorer, but that he wasn't about that. And I think football now would appreciate him more than perhaps back then, because your number 9 is not all about scoring goals. It's about letting people come off you, which is exactly what he was doing. And I think if you ask any player who played alongside him, they would say pretty much the same. Walshy had a great left foot. Colin Walsh, loved playing with him. We always joke that I did his running for him, but with a wand of a left foot, he just needed to have the ball and he could put it on a sixpence. The guy who I really looked up to, one of the reasons because I was young, coming through the youth team, made my debut alongside him, but he was just he wasn't just a very good player, he was a captain, he was a leader, and he was a top guy as well, and it's Peter Shirtliff. For all those reasons, and not just obviously he scored 2 crucial goals in that playoff win against Leeds, but he was so much more than that. He was just, when he talked, you listened. Apart from being a fantastic player, he was a great leader. So I'd probably have to say him, Peter Shirtliff. Really good question, that. Look, the lines are coming in. I'll make sure everybody gets a mention as well. But let me just move on. Before we do to the history answers, just want to give another shout out to the Community Hub, a story. Cact was contacted by Emma, who lives in Australia and was concerned about her parents who were in the late 70s and self-isolating. Cact helped her mum get the drugs she needed to treat her leukemia. And she said, that's good of all of you that you could get together and do that for her. Hopefully you can help some other people as well, because it's very confusing for them at this moment. It's just getting more difficult the older they get. And it's good, could even use the word great, that you guys were able to help us out. So again, fantastic there. So look, keep those coming in, but let's move on to the history answers, shall we? Which country did Germany invade on the 1st of September 1939 that led to the start of the Second World War? The answer was Poland. Question 2, true or false? Queen Victoria was alive at the start of the 20th century. It is true. She died in 1901. Question 3, what was the first name of the post-war UK Prime Minister whose surname was Attlee? It was, of course, Clement. Question 4, with which country did the UK fight the so-called Cod Wars over fishing rights in the 50s, 60s and 70s? It was Iceland. Question 5, who was Henry VIII's first wife? Catherine of Aragon. Question 6, who was the second man to walk on the moon? It was Buzz Aldrin. Question 7, which scientific subject did Margaret Thatcher study at Oxford University? It was chemistry. Question 8, how old was Julius Caesar when he died? I thought he was younger, but the answer, well, there were 33, 34, 50, 33, 44, 55, and 66. The answer is 55. Question 9, which modern-day country was the centre of the Ottoman Empire, which ruled much of Europe from the 14th century? The answer is Turkey. And question 10, who was the US president immediately before Barack Obama? It was George W. Bush. Okay. We need to know, Keith, if you're on. Keith, are you on in any way whatsoever? Keith, got to give you a mention. Leslie too. Is Lauren doing it, and the kids as well? So let me know if that's possible. if you can send a comment through or even a text to me. I'm sure you can do text, Keith. Come on. I know you can. You sent me one earlier today. Or yesterday, was it? Geography. What is the capital city of Brazil? The capital city of Brazil. Question 2, from its point of origin, which river is the longest in the world? So, from the point of origin, which river is the longest in the world? Question 3, which UK city is served by George Best Airport? Should know that one. Which UK city is served by George Best Airport? Good question. Question 4, which 4 British cities have underground rail systems? So which 4 British cities have underground rail systems? Now I'm doing fractions and decimals with my year 5 girl at the moment, so I'm going to give you a quarter for each one. But can you get all 4? Question 5, as the crow flies, which journey would take longer? Land's End in Cornwall to London, or London to Newcastle? So as the crow flies, which journey would take longer? Land's End in Cornwall to London, or London to Newcastle? Question 6, which American city is commonly referred to as the Windy City? And which state is it in? Which American city is commonly referred to as the Windy City, and which state is it in? Does that mean I just give you a half? Which one? Or no, just one of those will be fine. Question 7, which continent is home to both the highest and lowest points on land? So which continent is home to both the highest and lowest points on land? Question 8, in which capital city is the Red Fort situated? In which capital city is the Red Fort situated? Not an easy that one. No, question 9, which capital city's top attractions include the Pantheon, the Colosseum, and the Palatine Hill? So which capital city's top attractions include the Pantheon, Colosseum, and the Palatine Hill? Question 10, which motorway connects London with Cardiff? Been up and down it a few times. Which motorway connects London with Cardiff? Okay, I'll give you a minute to go through, a minute or so. Where are we up to in terms of saying hello? Shout out to Veronica Miller, who has today finished her degree. Veronica, well done. Brilliant. Fantastic. How do you feel? Great, I bet. You're allowed a glass of wine, aren't you? Yes. You've been having them a long time, I'm sure. Okay, or Ali Goldston. Hey, Scott, the Shamrock family are back, hoping to better our score from last week and would love a shout out. The Shamrock family, well done. What did you get last week? And let us know if you got better this week. Ray Bebb again wants to know who was the best Charlton player you played with. I think I've answered that one. Mary Jones says shout out to the Joneses beating. The Joneses baiting, is that? I have to ask Lorna to write that one again. The Joneses, there we go. It's a carry on. The Joneses are beating the Baileys at the quiz. Hello to Kathy. The Joneses beating the Baileys at the quiz. That may have been last week, maybe the start of this week. It's about what happens when the final whistle goes. Let's wait and see. Hello to Kathy. Russell Mears says, happy birthday, Kev. Is the cookie jar still working? And Mary Jones, that Mary Jones again. Best wishes from the pub of Wales. From the Prince of Wales pub, should I say, in Belvedere. The Prince of Wales pub in Belvedere. I'm sure I've been there back in the day. Okay. A fact on the Community Hub. The largest age group CACT is supporting through the Community Hub is 70 to 79-year-olds. Not surprising given the advice for people over 70 to self-isolate. So the largest age group CACT is supporting through the Community Hub is 70 to 79-year-olds. Not surprising given the advice for people over 70 to self-isolate. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's go through to the answers, shall we? Okay, the capital city of Brazil. It's not Rio, Brasilia. From its point of origin, which river is the longest in the world? Did you have the Amazon? But it's actually the River Nile. The River Nile is 6,693 kilometers. The Amazon, 6,436 kilometers. But for the sake of 250 odd kilometers, you're still wrong if you got the Amazon. The River Nile is the answer. I'm sure you got this one. Which UK city is served by George Best Airport? It's not Manchester, it's Belfast. Which 4 British cities have underground rail systems? Liverpool, Glasgow, Newcastle, and London. So Liverpool, Glasgow, Newcastle, and London. As the crow flies, which journey would take longer? Land's End in Cornwall to London or London to Newcastle? It is Land's End to London. It was 262.8 miles. Up against London to Newcastle is 247.9 miles. So Land's End to London is longer. Question 6. Which American city is commonly referred to as the Windy City, and which state is it in? We'll give you a mark for either. Chicago, Illinois. Question 7. Which continent is home to both the highest and lowest points on land? Asia. Question 8. In which capital city is the Red Fort situated? New Delhi, India. Question 9. Which capital city's top attractions include the Pantheon, Colosseum, and the Palatine Hill? Colosseum, a giveaway there, isn't it? Rome. And which motorway connects London with Cardiff? It is, of course, the M4. Tot up your answers there. Okay, look, before we start the final round, a quick reminder that while we hope you've enjoyed the quiz tonight and then it's brought you a little light relief, we are also doing it to raise funds for Charlton Athletic Community Trust. If you have enjoyed the quiz, please consider making a donation. Normally, CAC quiz nights are £10 per ticket, so perhaps £10 per screen or per team, or anything you can donate at all. All donations will help fund CAC's response to the coronavirus crisis, supporting young people through this difficult time and providing emergency support in the community for the vulnerable and elderly who are self-isolating. Please donate online at cact.org.uk/donate. And of course, as I said a little bit earlier at the top, I don't know if you missed it at all, but fantastic last week. It was all about the Upbeats team. A huge thank you to everyone who donated last week as part of the CAC's Upbeats week. In total, CAC raised over £27,000 to fund the Upbeats Down Syndrome's team. That was last week. Absolutely amazing total that will pay for the weekly training sessions, kit, entry to tournaments, and trips and other activities for the young people and adults who take part. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, let's move on to the sports round. Final round. How are you getting on? Chance to catch up? Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. Question 1. Which men's tennis player holds the record for the most number of major singles titles? Which men's tennis player holds the record for the most number of major singles titles? Question 2. Harold Dicky Bird is best known for his role as what during his cricket career? So Harold Dicky Bird is best known for his role as what during his cricket career? Question 3. Name the 3 Scottish players. Great question, this one. Name the 3 Scottish players who played in Charlton's iconic 1987 playoff final replay victory against Leeds at St Andrews. I mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but who were the 3 Scottish players? One of them, I was his AP, his apprentice. I used to clean his boots, get his kit out, and he was a top guy, I have to say. In fact, I've already mentioned another one, haven't I? Question 4. Which 2 other Premier League players shared the Golden Boot Award with Mo Salah in the 2018-19 season? So which 2 other Premier League players shared the Golden Boot Award with Mo Salah in the 2018-19 season? Question 3. Which NFL team has the most Super Bowl appearances? Which NFL team has the most Super Bowl appearances? Not who's won it the most, but who's had the most Super Bowl appearances? Okay, another good Charlton question. Charlton won the then First Division title to regain promotion to the FA Carling Premiership for the 2000-2001 season at the first time of asking. The trophy presentation took place on the 29th of April 2000. You're glad that wasn't the question. After Charlton's last home game of the season. Who were the opponents at the Valley that day? So Charlton won the then First Division title to regain promotion to the Premiership in 2000-2001 for the first time of asking. The trophy presentation took place at Charlton's last home game of the season. Who were the opponents at the Valley that day? Question 7. Who kicked the drop goal to give England their 2003 Rugby World Cup win? Who kicked the drop goal to give England their 2003 Rugby World Cup win? Question 8. In the 2016 Olympics, which country performed a podium sweep in the women's 100-meter hurdles? In the 2016 Olympics, which country performed a podium sweep in the women's 100-meter hurdles? 2 more questions. Hearts and Hibs come from which Scottish city? Hearts and Hibs come from which Scottish city? And the final question, another very good Charlton question. In the summer of 2000, who did Charlton sign Finnish international striker Jonathan Johansson from for £3.25 million? So in the summer of 2000, who did Charlton sign Finnish international striker Jonathan Johansson from in a deal that was worth £3.25 million? We'll give you a bit of time there. I would like to thank to the Christian writers, John Allen, Steve Clark, Anthony Crowther, Johnny Sutton, Steve Sutherland. Steve, how are you, mate? And Graham Taylor. I hope you're all well. Great questions, guys. Really, really good questions. Thank you very much indeed. Let's go through the remaining ones that we've got here. Ali Goldston says, thanks for the shout out. The Shamrock family have already beaten last week's score. Well done, Shamrock family. Can you do the same again next week? That's the question. Ray Bede, Ray, good questions. Asks, did you ever consider going into management? For about a second. I do remember sitting, I was at Benfica at the time, and Graham Souness had become the manager halfway through my first season. And I got on really well with him. We were travelling somewhere. I don't know where it was. It was a Champions League game. And he He sat down next to me at the airport and said, "Scott, do you ever want to be a manager?" And I said, "No chance." And he said, I said, Gaffer, no chance. He said, yeah, I was the same at your age. And I looked at him and went, "Gaffer, absolutely no chance." So that was 98. So you're talking at a time where I was just thinking the amount of effort you have to put into it. If you're going to do something, do it properly, of course. The egos of certain players, the media. Now you can times all those by 100, 20 years on, plus social media as well. And the owners always want to try and be pally with absolutely everybody and read social media. And unfortunately, I'm not sure owners can do that. So I just felt, no, you work hard all week, 24/7. Your family have to take second place. For someone who might score an own goal on a Saturday and you lose 1-0 and then you get a hammering. So no, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. Thank you, Ray. Okay, apparently Keith and Leslie are watching. Keith, but even more so Leslie, how are you? Hopefully Lauren's there with the kids as well. Hope you've enjoyed it. Watching everything but too scared to press any buttons. That sounds like Keith. But hope you well, guys. The Peacock family, absolute, not just Charlton legends, but legends as people as well. Is there anything else we can mention? I think we've pretty much done everything, haven't we? I've got an answer here. Kevin Crowd, unfortunately, the cookie jar is no longer. Crazy Gymnastics, already beaten last week's score. Question 6, Charlton community. Who were the Charlton's opponents for last home game of the season when Charlton were presented? Yeah, so who were the Charlton's opponents? Okay, well, let's go through to the answers now, shall we? Okay, question 1. Which men's tennis player holds the record for the most number of major singles titles? It is Roger Federer. Question 2, Harold Dickie Bird is best known for his role as what during his cricket career? He was an umpire, top umpire. Name the 3 Scottish players who played in Charlton's iconic 1987 playoff final replay victory against Leeds United at St Andrews. Mark Reed was my pro, the guy who used to clean his boots, make sure his kit was out. I would say if ever he needed a cup of tea, always ask me if he wanted a cup of tea, but anybody would just say, go and do us a cup of tea. And I still think to this day, I do not understand why they've got rid of the apprenticeship, but that's another story. Colin Walsh, who I've mentioned, a wand of a left foot, and Jim Melrose was the other one. Charlton won 2-1, of course. Shirty got both goals. Question 4, which 2 other Premier League players shared the Golden Boot Award with Mo Salah in the 2018-19 season? Teammates Sadio Mane and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Which NFL team has the most Super Bowl appearances? The New England Patriots. No Tom Brady anymore, of course. Charlton won the then First Division title to regain promotion to the Premiership for the 2001 season at the first time of asking. The trophy presentation took place on the 29th of April 2000 after Charlton's last home game of the season. Who were the opponents at the Valley that day? Ipswich. Bonus point. What was the score? 3-1. They won. Ipswich went on to secure promotion via the playoffs and joined Charlton and runners-up Manchester City in the FA Carling Premiership. Manchester City went up in the 2000 and 2001 season. Amazing. Question 7. Who kicked the drop goal to give England their 2003 Rugby World Cup win? It was, of course, Johnny Wilkinson. Question 8. In the 2016 Olympics, which country performed a podium sweep in the women's 100-metre hurdles? Perhaps no surprise, the USA. Hearts and Hibs come from which Scottish city? It is, of course, Edinburgh. And the final question is, in the summer of 2000, who did Charlton sign the Finnish international striker Jonathan Johansson from for £3.25 million? It was Glasgow Rangers. So look, tot up those scores. Thank you so much to everyone who has taken part this evening. Please do not forget to put your team's names and scores in the comments below, or you can email fundraising@cact.org.uk by 8 p.m. tonight, and we shall announce the winners online a little bit later. Don't forget at 8 o'clock as well, we shall be saluting our heroes on the front line who are saving lives as we speak. But look, we're planning to make this a weekly activity for the time being. We hope you can join us again next week. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of the evening and the rest of the week as well. Bye for now.